This year, there's a lot of interest for canola across Oklahoma, and what are some of the things that producers should be thinking about right now?
For starters, getting their ground ready, getting some seed located, taking care of their pre-plant fertilizer. If they can find a way to make it rain, that'd be the best options.
Well, and then they wouldn't be in agriculture. They'd make the big money.
Oh yeah.
So what are some of the things that producers need to be doing to get their ground ready?
Well, obviously in a conventional till, we want a firm seed bed for canola, almost as firm as you would want for alfalfa or something like that. So a nice level, firm seed bed. Try to make each tillage shallower than the previous, try to conserve some soil moisture. And basically trying to get the ground ready so when it does rain, you can go and plant it once it does rain.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the in-furrow fertilizer for the canola.
It's usually a tricky question. Canola is a little bit more vulnerable to salting out due to the nitrogen and potassium in fertilizers. It's a little bit more sensitive than wheat is. So guys that usually put so much on their wheat usually do that much on their canola before they know about it. And we've had instances where the canola is salted out. Rule of thumb is that no more than 5 pounds of nitrogen or potassium with the seed. That's at optimum conditions. Obviously this year we have dry conditions. Dry and sandy soils make canola more prone to salting out. So if you do have sandy ground that is dry, probably don't want to put any in-row fertilizer down. So.
Now here's the really tough question. 2/3 of the state is in extreme drought or exceptional drought.
Correct.
When should you plant canola?
Well, this Saturday is the first insured date to start planting.
Okay.
So we do have another 4 weeks till October 10th to hopefully get a couple rains in there. If they don't get any rain by then, RMA said they won't do any preventative planting on wheat or canola, so they want you to go ahead and dust it in, and hopefully we'll get some rains late October to get the plant up and going before some mid to late November hard freezes. So.
Okay, so from now through mid-October.
Yep.
Okay.
When they do start to plant, we do have some drill calibration kits. So along with this and a fact sheet, they can usually calibrate their drills using a volumetric method instead of having to have some scales out there. So the cost of seed, it's very critical to get those drills calibrated. So they can go out there and plant whenever they're ready and know they're putting out about 5 pounds a acre.
Let's talk about no-till and canola.
Obviously we've had some troubles with no-till in the past. The genetics we have nowadays have made it a lot more feasible.
Right.
There are some other considerations. We have another fact sheet going over a bunch of those considerations. But main critical factor is residue management. Unlike wheat, canola's growing point is above ground. So the plant will put that above the residue and it'll be more subjected to hard freezes the further away you get it from the soil. So trying to get that seed row clean so that plant will keep that crown on the soil surface is very beneficial for crop survival over the winter. So some guys either do trash rippers in their furrows. Some have started using 30-inch row crop planters to have more options with those. We do see a little bit of a yield drag going all the way up to 30-inch rows. Anywhere from 6 to 16 inches, we really don't see a yield difference. But once we get up to 30s, we do. Another option for some no-till guys is a pre-plant burn, where they go out the morning of or the day before and go ahead and burn off the residue and come back and plant as soon as possible. So they still keep the residue over the fallow period, but right before planting they'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Obviously that's not attractive to all the no-till producers, and it's also will avoid some of the programs for no-till too.
How is canola faring with the weeds this year?
Well, weed management is one of the main reasons why OSU started looking at this crop rotation about 8 years ago. Basically, we introduced it as a weed management tool for winter wheat. Obviously, the main attractive selling point is that the Roundup Ready. A lot of guys can use a broad spectrum herbicide such as Roundup to kill most of their weeds. There are some conventional types that are non-Roundup Ready that they can plant. We still do have some great grass control options for them, but not too many broadleaf weed control options in canola. So if they do have bushy wildflower or a heavy presence of mare's tail, might not be the best option, but for most of the time it's winter annual grasses that are our problems, and canola is a good fit for that.
Okay, and this is also the time to start thinking about insects for the crop this year.
Yes, insects is usually a problem in canola. For some reason they're always attracted to it. All the commercially available seed is seed treated with the fungicide and insecticide, and those insecticide seed treatments work great for aphid control throughout the fall and winter, but we still need to go out and scout our fields during the late fall and winter to look for some caterpillars, some diamondback moth larvae, or some army cutworms in the soil. Last year we had some reports of the drought taking their stand out. We go out there and search, and in the soil we found some cutworms thinning the crop out. So get out in there and check for insects and weeds and getting them sprayed if need be is very critical.
Okay, Josh Bushong, thank you very much. And for more information on what we talked about today, including all the fact sheets, you can go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.